Hello and welcome to Quiz Time. I'm Jess, and today I have one of our lovely baby boomers quizzes for you. So, 100 questions. How do you think you'll do? Let's find out. Which infamous bank robbing heiress declared allegiance to the Symbionese Liberation Army? Patty Hearst, Jane Fonda, or Angela Davis? Patty Hearst. The Watergate scandal began with a break-in at which location? The Pentagon, the Watergate Hotel, or the White House? The Watergate Hotel, thus the name. What landmark 1973 US Supreme Court case legalized abortion nationwide? Planned Parenthood v. Casey, Griswold v. Connecticut, or Roe v. Wade? Roe v. Wade. True or false? Stephen King authored the horror movie Carrie. It's true, Stephen King did author the horror novel Carrie. Which song from Marvin Gaye's album What's Going On became a major hit? Inner City Blues, What's Going On, or Mercy Mercy Me? It was What's Going On. Which Francis Ford Coppola film became an iconic tale of power, family, and betrayal in the mafia? The Godfather, Goodfellas, or Scarface? The Godfather. Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon became one of the best-selling albums of all time. What piece of iconic artwork graced its album cover? A clock melting, a rainbow across a pyramid, or a moon eclipse? That famous rainbow across a pyramid. Which fashion trend involved wide-legged pants, bell-bottoms, skinny jeans, or harem pants? It's bell-bottoms. Did you have a pair of these? Which sci-fi film caused a stir for its disturbing portrayal of youth violence? THX 1138, Soylent Green, or A Clockwork Orange? A Clockwork Orange. David Bowie's character Ziggy Stardust was an alien rock star whose persona changed the landscape of music. What was the title of the album that introduced Ziggy? The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. The Exorcist became one of the most iconic horror films of all time. What real-world event inspired the original story? 1949 exorcism of a young boy in Maryland. NASA launched the Mariner 10 spacecraft to perform the first ever flybys of which two planets? Mars and Jupiter, Mercury and Venus, or Saturn and Uranus? It was Mercury and Venus. Who became the first female Prime Minister of India in 1971? Indira Gandhi, Benazir Bhutto, or Golda Meir? Indira Gandhi. Which legendary martial artist starred in Enter the Dragon? Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, or Jet Li? It was Bruce Lee. Papa Was a Rolling Stone became a massive hit for which soul band? The Jackson 5, Earth, Wind and Fire, or The Temptations? The Temptations. Which feminist book was published in 1971 by Germaine Greer? The Female Eunuch, The Feminine Mystique, or Sexual Politics? The Female Eunuch. Which American thoroughbred horse became the first to win the Triple Crown? Sir Barton, Citation, or Secretariat? Sir Barton. Which 1971 arcade game created by Atari became the first commercially successful video game? Space Invaders, Asteroids, or Pong? All classics. Which was the first? It was Pong. Which Australian film about a ruthless gang and post-apocalyptic wasteland launched the career of actor Mel Gibson? Stone, the prequel to Mad Max. Who released Goodbye Yellow Brick Road? Elton John, Queen, or Fleetwood Mac? An absolute classic from Elton John. Which crime thriller tells the story of a bank robbery that turns into a media circus and a standoff with the police? Dog Day Afternoon, Serpico, or Scarface? Dog Day Afternoon. Greenpeace was founded in which city as an environmental organisation aimed at protesting nuclear testing? Vancouver in Canada. Which notorious New York nightclub became the epicenter of the disco craze and celebrity culture during the 1970s? CBGB, Studio 54, or The Limelight? Studio 54. Which ballet dancer defected from the Soviet Union to the West? Mikhail Baryshnikov, Rudolf Nureyev, or Vaslav Nijinsky? Mikhail Baryshnikov. Which film by Roman Polanski explored corruption in the 1930s Los Angeles and is considered a neo-noir classic? The Long Goodbye, The Conversation, or Chinatown? Chinatown. Which funk song by James Brown became one of the most sampled tracks in hip-hop history due to its iconic opening drum break? Get Up. I Feel Like Being a Sex Machine. Which scandal involved the FBI illegally surveilling and sabotaging civil rights and activist groups during the early 1970s? Operation Chaos, COINTELPRO, or MKU Ultra? COINTELPRO. Who became the first African American woman elected to the US Congress? Shirley Chisholm, Barbara Jordan, or Angela Davis? Shirley Chisholm. Which composer which computer engineer helped create the first email system and sent the first ever email using the @ symbol? Tim Berners-Lee, Vint Cerf, or Ray Tomlinson? Ray Tomlinson. What major communist country did President Nixon visit in 1972? China. Which space station was launched by NASA in 1973, serving as the United States' first experimental space station? Apollo, ISS, or Skylab? Skylab. Which actor won the Academy Award for Best Actor for his role in The Godfather? Al Pacino, Marlon Brando, or Robert Duvall? Al Pacino. What major sporting event in 1972 saw chess grandmaster Bobby Fischer defeat Boris Spassky? The Chess Olympiad, the Candidates Tournament, or the World Chess Championship? The World Chess Championship. Which car company introduced the first electric car available for lease in 1973? Sebring Vanguard, General Motors, or Toyota? Sebring Vanguard. Which movie depicts the destruction of civilization after a brutal war between humans and superintelligent computers? A Clockwork Orange, 2001: A Space Odyssey, or THX 1138? THX 1138 or 1138. Which jazz fusion band released the album Heavy Weather? Weather Report, Return to Forever, or Marshvidna Orchestra? Weather Report. The 1973 Paris Peace Accords officially ended US involvement in which conflict? Korean War, Vietnam War, or Bay of Pigs invasion? Vietnam War. Which actress and model became a controversial anti-war activist during the early 1970s? Faye Dunaway, Mia Farrow, or Jane Fonda? Jane Fonda. Which book by Italian writer Umberto Eco is credited with influencing postmodern literature? The Name of the Rose, Full Court's Pendulum, or The Open Work? The Open Work. Which children's novel by Richard Adams became an unexpected hit with adult readers? Watership Down, Charlotte's Web, or The Velveteen Rabbit? Watership Down. It's such a sad story. Which film told the harrowing tale of a man's escape from a French penal colony? Cool Hand Luke, Papillon, or The Great Escape? Papillon. What 1972 movie directed by Louis Brunel won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film and became a landmark in surrealist cinema? The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie. Which track by Kool and the Gang became a worldwide hit? Get Down on It, Jungle Boogie, or Celebration? Jungle Boogie. who became Prime Minister of the UK in 1974? Harold Wilson. Which musical by Stephen Sondheim was inspired by the stories of the Brothers Grimm? Company, Into the Woods, or Follies? Follies. What cult TV show focused on an extended blended family and became a symbol of early 70s pop culture? The Brady Bunch. Which fashion designer revolutionized the 1970s with her wrap dress? Diane von Furstenberg, Donna Karan, or Vivienne Westwood? Diane von Furstenberg. What was the name of Elton John's song that honoured Marilyn Monroe? Tiny Dancer, Candle in the Wind, or Rocket Man? And it was Candle in the Wind. Which rock band released the album Aqualung in 1971? Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, or Jethro Tull? Jethro Tull. Billie Jean King famously defeated which male tennis player in the Battle of the Sexes? Bobby Riggs. Which British Prime Minister gave her famous "This Lady's Not for Turning" speech in 1971? Barbara Castle, Margaret Thatcher, or Theresa May? Margaret Thatcher. Which album by the Rolling Stones includes the classic song Brown Sugar? Sticky Fingers, Exile on Main Street, or Let It Bleed? Sticky Fingers. Where was the Smiling Buddha nuclear test conducted? Thar Desert, Himalayas, or Deccan Plateau? The Thar Desert. What song by Don McLean was a tribute to the death of Buddy Holly? American Pie. The military coup in Chile led to the overthrow of which democratically elected president? Pablo Neruda, Salvador Allende, or Eduardo Frei Montalva? Salvador Allende. Which jazz saxophonist released the influential live album The Cone Concert? Keith Jarrett, John Coltrane, or Sonny Rollins? Keith Jarrett. Which Caribbean country gained its independence from the UK in 1973? Bahamas, Jamaica, or Barbados? Bahamas. Which 1971 movie based on a Roald Dahl book and starring Gene Wilder became a family classic despite its darker themes? Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, The Wizard of Oz, or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Still a classic today, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Which groundbreaking jazz rock album by Miles Davis further pushed the boundaries of genre fusion? Live Evil. Who was the first female professional golfer to win a tournament on the men's PGA Tour? Annika Sorenstam, Kathy Whitworth, or Babe Zaharas? Babe Zaharas. Which German filmmaker directed the 1972 film Agua, The Wrath of God? Wim Wenders, Werner Herzog, or Rainer Fassbinder? Werner Herzog. Apologies. What music album created by German band Can is often considered a groundbreaking piece of experimental rock and quilt rock? Autobahn, Nu, or Tego Mego? Tego Mego. Which film portrayed the story of an investigative journalist uncovering political corruption? The Candidate, All the President's Men, or The Great Gatsby? The Great Gatsby. Name the space mission where two Soviet cosmonauts spent a record 23 days in space aboard the space station Salyut 1. Soyuz 10, Soyuz 2, or Soyuz 12? Soyuz 2, or Soyuz 11? What court ruling in the US dealt with the legal precedent of affirmative action and racial quotas in university admissions? DeFunis v. Odegaard. Which African-American feminist activist published the book The Black Woman? Audre Lorde, Toni Morrison, or Toni Cade Bambara? Toni Cade Bambara. Which song by The Who included the famous line, "Meet the new boss, same as the old boss"? Behind Blue Eyes, Baba O'Reilly, or Won't Get Fooled Again? Won't Get Fooled Again. Which science fiction novel by Philip K. Dick blends themes of reality and illusion? A Scanner Darkly, Ubik, or Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? A Scanner Darkly. Which music festival was held in Watkins Glen and hosted over 600,000 people? Summer Jam. Thomas Pynchon published Gravity's Rainbow, which became known for its complex narrative and commentary on which war? The Cold War, World War II, or the Vietnam War? World War II. Which painter and filmmaker released his experimental film Flesh for Frankenstein? Andy Warhol, Jean-Michel Basquiat, or Roy Lichtenstein? Andy Warhol. What controversial policy introduced by President Nixon involved imposing wage and price controls to combat inflation? The New Economic Policy. Greenpeace launched its first major environmental campaign to protest which country's nuclear tests? France, United States, or China? France. Who directed the film McCabe and Mrs. Miller? Sam Peckinpah, Sergio Leone, or Robert Altman? Robert Altman. Which American civil rights leader was assassinated in 1972 while organizing labor strikes in Mississippi? George Jackson. Which American jazz musician released the groundbreaking album On the Corner? Miles Davis, John Coltrane, or Herbie Hancock? Miles Davis. Ethiopia experienced a military coup that ousted which monarch, ending centuries of imperial rule? Emperor Menelik II, Emperor Haile Selassie, or Emperor Johannes IV? Emperor Haile Selassie. What song by Stevie Wonder criticised American politics and became one of his most famous hits? Living for the City. Which science fiction writer released The Lath of Heaven in 1971? Ursula K. Le Guin, Isaac Asimov, or Arthur C. Clarke? Ursula K. Le Guin. Which rock opera tells the story of a young mod named Jimmy? A Quick One, Who's Next, or Quadrophenia? Quadrophenia. Which film features a young man's relationship with a much older woman? Easy Rider, Harold and Maude, or The Graduate? Harold and Maude. Which US senator led the Select Committee on Presidential Campaign Activities? Sam Ervin. Which novel by British author John le Carre is regarded as one of the greatest espionage novels of all time? Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, Smiley's People, or The Spy Who Came In From the Cold? Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Which sports car became an iconic symbol of American automotive performance? Ford Mustang, Chevrolet Corvette, or Pontiac Firebird Trans Am? Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. Which American sculptor created the work Spiral Jetty, located in Utah's Great Salt Lake? Richard Serra, Donald Judd, or Robert Smithson? Robert Smithson. Who published this controversial novel, The Napoleon Symphony, in 1974? Anthony Burgess. Which environmentalist wrote The Monkey Wrench Gang? Rachel Carson, Edward Abbey, or Barry Commoner? Edward Abbey. True or false? Bloody Sunday saw British soldiers shoot 26 unarmed civilians during a protest march in Dublin. False. It was actually in Derry, although sadly it did happen. Which US presidential candidate ran a platform of ending the Vietnam War but lost in a landslide to Richard Nixon? George McGovern. Which US Supreme Court ruling struck down anti-obscenity laws? Texas v. Johnson, Miller v. California, or New York Times Co. v. United States? Miller v. California. Which French tightrope walker made headlines when he illegally walked a wire between the two towers of the World Trade Center? Philippe Petit, Jean-Louis Blondeau, or Alain Robert? Philippe Petit. Which film depicted a deadly pathogen escaping from a government lab and threatening humanity? Soylent Green, Westworld, or the Andromeda Strain? The Andromeda Strain. Which country became the first in the world to elect an openly gay politician? Canada, Netherlands, or the United States? The United States. Which architect's final project was the new National Gallery in Berlin? Le Corbusier, Frank Lloyd Wright, Ludwig Mies van der Rohe? Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. Which influential novel by Jerry Kosinski satirizes the role of television in shaping public opinion and political figures? Being There. Which Broadway musical tells the story of the biblical character Joseph and his coat of many colours? Jesus Christ Superstar, Godspell, or Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat? Godspell. Which physicist is credited with advancing the theory of superconductivity? Richard Feynman, Abdus Salem, or Murray Gell-Mann? Murray Gell-Mann. Which country became the first to have a female head of state when Isabel Perón succeeded her husband as president? Brazil, Mexico, or Argentina? Argentina. Which European country became the first to legitimize euthanasia in 1973 to legalize? Netherlands, Belgium, or Sweden? It's the Netherlands. And your last one. Which American singer-songwriter released the album Tapestry in 1971? Carole King. So, how did you do today? Drop your score in the comments below and of course like and subscribe so you get notified every time we post a new quiz. And please join us next time on Quiz Time.